Welcome to Patients Like Me. We were one of the winners of the Gold for Gold competition for UKTI. We're very excited to be part of that.
We were surrounded by a bunch of other entrepreneurs and we were so excited to be picked. I believe there were around 20 finalists and we were one of the 3 that were selected.
My name is Dr. Emma Stanton and I'm Chief Executive of Beacon UK in London. By background, I'm a psychiatrist and I still practice clinically 1 day a week at South London and Maudsley NHS Foundation Trust.
As you can see, we're headquartered in the middle of Kendall Square, which is the dynamic biotech hub that's making Boston thrive as one of the centers of biotechnology and discovery in health and medicine. I like to say that we're in Cambridge 2.0 because, you know, my father and my family went to school in Cambridge 1.0, which I heard is over in the United Kingdom, and we're very excited to be sort of expanding into covering both of those regions directly. We are one of the companies that cross information and medicine and biodiscovery in a way that no one else does, and I'll take you inside and we'll show you a little bit what's going on. So what this company was built to do and what Patients Like Me is about is allowing every patient that's going through a disease to learn about what might have worked or not worked, or the path or the journey of every other patient that's ever experienced their condition or their conditions or their combinations. All medicine is unique. And you know, for the first time, data systems are allowing us to measure that uniqueness so that we can understand the journey of each patient and use that to guide the next one. And we're building the foundations of that information architecture here. One of the challenges of trying to be as transformative as Patients Like Me is to really make medicine about the patient, not about the system or the insurance company or the doctor or the government, but about the patient. Is, you know, you have to invent really hard technologies. We've got a lot of them. This is an award that came to us from Technology Review to Paul Wicks, who's actually leading our British operation right now. And he actually won Humanitarian of the Year because he was the guy that helped us take this technology that we've been developing and really bring it to formal scientific objectives. When we were a very, very small company, it was just 3 people in the enterprise. We needed someone to be managing our relationship with the patients online, and we were talking to this guy that was running a bulletin board in the UK and dialoguing by email and phone, and we didn't know anything about him, didn't really know a lot about his history or his research work, but he just made a lot of sense about the way he thought about, you know, communicating with patients, understanding science, the impact and things like that. So Ben, my brother, who's the president, actually hired Paul to start running part of our program, never having met him as a virtual employee from the United Kingdom.
What really was the catalyst for driving this forward is that Paul Wicks, who Jamie had talked about before, comes from the UK, and we'd had connections with him at the consulate, and at a networking event I got chatting with Paul, and I said, oh, you know, I'd heard Jamie speak, I think that you know, you guys should really be in the UK, and he said, well, you know, I think that there's great potential for Patients Like Me in the UK too, and I'd be very happy to go back if Jamie would be open to that. So this wasn't really about a cool technology company expanding to the UK. The transformative, the timing, the transformation, and the potential impact that this is going to have, given the unique structure of the NHS in the UK, I just think that it was perfect in many respects.
Evertrue is a startup that is helping colleges and other nonprofits more effectively raise money from their potential donors. We believe that with the onset of mobile and social technology, there's an opportunity to better connect donors to potential fundraisers more effectively than ever before. Evertrue started here in Boston, and we work with a bunch of schools in New England, but we also have schools who work with us in DC, in New Orleans, in LA, San Francisco, increasingly around the country and around the world. And it's really been exciting to ourselves be able to use technology to communicate with and connect with potential users of our applications all over the world. One of the benefits of presenting at Techstars Demo Day was an opportunity to tell the Evertrue story to over 500 investors and advisors and supporters of the startup community here in Boston. And after I came off stage, following our presentation, I was approached by David Hewson with UKTI. And I wasn't that familiar with the organization at that time, but Dave's first question to me was, have you ever considered the UK markets?
It was at that time that we connected with them and wanted to make them aware of the opportunity to apply for Go for Gold, because we felt it was sort of obvious that they had a product which would be relevant for the UK market. And we were really impressed by that in a fairly short amount of time they pulled together such a thoughtful piece, and it really stood out against a number of other applications, so we were happy to support them. We set up a pretty packed schedule for them, so they were actually driving and taking the train all across the UK over a 5-day period. They had the opportunity to visit with folks at Oxford and Cambridge and Eton and really some of the most storied universities in the world.
We know that given the trends in the UK, which include increased focus on fundraising from graduates in a way that's never been done before. Oxford and Cambridge both have recently closed billion-dollar-plus capital campaigns for the first time ever outside of the United States. And so there were all these trends that were attracting us to the UK, but the reality is we're a small company and we're just trying to get off the ground, and it wasn't feasible for us on our own to really invest time in pursuing the UK markets. And so when we saw the opportunity to apply for Go for Gold and then potentially win and earn a trip to the UK, it seemed like really a phenomenal opportunity.
So I think that London is a great place for US companies that are looking to set up UK and European offices. The main difference between the office that we have set up in London and the office that you see behind you here is the size. Beacon in the US has been established for over 16 years. Beacon in London has been established for less than 1 year. So we have a much smaller office. We have a much smaller team who work together in an open plan style. The best thing about the office that we have set up in London is its location. It's right in the centre of London. When we came to choosing where we were going to be based in London, this was really where UKTI was very helpful. What they set up for me was the opportunity to look at various incubator spaces all around London, and indeed they supported me with some of our rent during the first few months of setting up office in the King's Fund. UKTI were very helpful in terms of introducing all of the International Hartness Fellows to events that were happening at the British Consulate. And it was during those events that I had the opportunity to meet the team. And when I let them know about my plans to work with Beacon on return to the UK, I was encouraged to apply for the Go for Gold competition. Now the reason that Go for Gold was helpful to us was largely because I just don't think you can underestimate having the support of the UK trade and industry as we were entering a new market in terms of credibility and also in terms of reach. We were really a startup starting from scratch, creating a new kind of way of thinking about improving mental health care.
Well, I think the first thing for anybody looking to go into the UK is make sure that you get a good local partner. And in our case, we found Dr. Emma Stanton. I would be loath to go in to the UK just with my team here in the US and say, here we are, we've planted a flag and we're here to do business. That doesn't make sense. You need to find a good local partner who understands what your capabilities are as a company and what the mission is, and to make sure that there's a good kind of understanding of that, but then also someone who understands the local dynamic within the marketplace.
Now with Beacon, that's really giving us the opportunity to get a grip on some of those problems and to start to really promote alternative levels of care in the community. I also really want to get other clinicians involved in Beacon in the UK so that that really becomes the DNA of the company that we're building.
So the 3 winners went to Britain. Patients Like Me, for example, has set up there and is doing very well in Britain. We've also worked with those who didn't take the first prizes, but have also found that their business plan, their business model, requires them to have a presence in Britain. So it was a great idea from Kirsten and her team.